This sport is sponsored by Rapid Radio's Padres. Drop a brutal one to the St. Louis Cardinals last night, 9-7. They'll be back today, a little bit earlier start time, 4:15. Padres are currently favored by -130 on the money line. Nick Pivetta be going for the Padres, while Miles Mikolas is going for the Cardinals. And the Arizona Diamondbacks have traded first baseman Josh Naylor to the Seattle Mariners. They have informed the league that they will be selling at the deadline. Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage and no subscription ever. Business owners can keep in touch up to 200 staff members at one time. Go to rapidradios.com now for up to 60% off and free shipping.
Welcome to the Fletch Zone.
I'm Ben Fletcher. That's Sammy Long.
Well, don't keep us in suspense any longer. Show us what you got.
No fluff, just facts.
People have spoken.
Text line, you guys are crazy. I
What the hell even is that? Are you talking about the 484 text?
I don't understand it, bro.
There's no way I could read that, but
No, you
what
can't
is
read-
it?
okay,
Seriously, 484, no, text me what that is. I'm very, very curious.
Okay.
Might as well help out my best friend, right?
Now it's time to enter
In it to win it.
the Fletch Zone.
Oh, yeah. It's Friday, baby. It is Friday in San Diego. Comic-Con week. Padres in action. 40 days away from the NFL season. I'll say that one more time. 40 days away from the
Sexy.
start of the NFL season. In fact, to be exact about it, as the text line likes, 40 days, 11 hours, 58 minutes, and 1 second away from kickoff of the 2025-2026 NFL season. We got a lot going on today. Steve Hartman, unless he ditches us like he did last week, will be on the show coming up at 1:30. He's got some questions to answer. We'll talk a lot about the Padres today because yesterday was a weird sort of multiverse Padres game where everything flip-flopped from that's usually good that was bad yesterday and what was usually bad was good yesterday. We'll get into it a little bit. Lots of NFL news to come talk about today as the Jaguars appear to have made a decision on Travis Hunter. There's NFL quarterback news all over the place. We are going to get into it all, as well as some awesome news about the boxing world that I think is a great idea that Sammy's going to fill us in on the specifics of, but we'll get into that a little bit later on as well. Big three coming up in just a minute, and tickets to give away. 4-pack of tickets for Wiz Khalifa, which is coming up on August 8th. 4-pack of tickets to go see Creed, which is coming up on August 6th. Sammy Long, you braved the downtown lights last night in the middle of Comic-Con week, which is something the Padres don't even do, by the way. They go on their biggest road trip of the year every year right around Comic-Con time. But you were down there last night. How was it?
It was fun. It was everyone was out. It was kind of a whole party going on down there in the gas lamp. I went to the American Comedy Company, saw Natasha Leggero, and she was great. She's a really funny show. A couple surprise guests. They're having a couple surprise guests tonight. So if you're down there, go check them out. But yeah, drank at a couple Irish bars down there. It was a fun night.
Nice. You get to watch the Padres game downtown?
We did, unfortunately.
That was a crazy game.
Yeah, we got down there for the end of it, and that we're gonna get into this later. But I don't know how to feel about this team.
No one does. But the first 5 innings were awesome. It's like offense on both sides going nuts, home runs all over the place. Fernando and Manny hitting a home run in the same inning. Like, how often have we seen that this year? Not very.
I'll give the Padres one thing. It's always exciting because if you're a Padres fan or you don't like the Padres, because they always keep it close.
Yeah.
They don't get blown out. So they either score a bunch of runs and they lose like that, or they barely win, or they lose 1-0 or they win 1-0. Kind
of a crazy game yesterday. And honestly, like, you can't blame the offense for the first time in what feels like a month and a half. You can blame the pitching. Like, Yu Darvish is healthy now, but he doesn't really look good. So it'll be interesting to see what the Padres do here over the next couple of weeks. Of course, there's rumors all over the place. We got new Buster Olney stuff coming out. The trade deadline, I do think, has officially begun now because a big name has moved. Josh Naylor has moved from the Diamondbacks up to Seattle. So what does that tell you about the Arizona Diamondbacks? Are they all in on selling this year?
They confirm they're in on selling.
All the way in.
They're the first team to officially say they're selling because they're now 5.5 games back.
What does that do to the division? I think there's a lot of questions that still need to be answered. This weekend's going to play a big part in it. And then by the time next Thursday rolls around, maybe we'll have some answers. All right, we're going to get to everything today. By the way, Natasha Leggero, who you saw last night, hilarious.
She's fantastic.
We had her in studio maybe 2 years ago on Big Rich, TD, and Fletch, and she brought the house down.
Yeah, she crushed. There was like the American Comedy Company had like 6 comics go last night.
That's cool, man.
They had like 5 openers, and then they had 2. Natasha Leggero and Dana Gold was a kind of surprise headliner last night.
Simpsons?
Yep.
That's cool.
Fantastic.
That's really cool.
They both crushed. Rave reviews.
Was downtown all wrapped in all the Comic-Con stuff? Like big posters and everything all over buildings?
No, but everyone had, like, we were standing in line, and these two guys in front of us had these like giant bags of stuff with I don't know what was inside. Maybe they stole stuff from Comic-Con. I have no idea.
Did you see any furries?
There were a few of those.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Listen,
new kink unlocked for Sammy Long. He's in.
Shut the hell up. Listen. If you want to go people watch, just go to downtown tonight and just watch people interact.
All right. Top stories in the sports world. Sammy Long takes us through all three of them. Sammy, smash the button.
Your lunch break is here. Ready to go back to the office and knock the socks off your friends? I mean, coworkers? It's time for the top stories of the day. The Big Three.
If you'd like to watch the show today, a couple ways for you to do it. On X, at Fletch and Sammy. That's Twitter, Fletch and Sammy on X. And then on YouTube, at San Diego Sports 760. That one will stay live from now until the time John and Jim get off the air at 6 o'clock. By the way, John and Jim have some details on an awesome prize you can win later tonight at the SDFC game. There's going to be a San Diego Sports 760 booth there. If you go up to the booth and you do a couple things with a picture, you are able to enter into a drawing to win a signed SDFC jersey signed by every member of the team. Sammy, where are we starting?
Let's start with the Padres. So this is a two-parter. Number one, after last night's start, does Yu Darvish need to be shut down? Because in 3 starts, he has been god-awful, and he sold long shots. And then, because of that, even if he does keep pitching, does starting pitching become now the most pressing need for the Padres?
All right, let's start with Yu Darvish. So I actually think in a weird way, his fate is connected to Dylan Cease's fate. Like, can the Padres even afford to trade Dylan Cease if there's this many questions about Yu Darvish? But with Yu Darvish, just watching the pitching alone, he looks healthy. And the velocity is where it needs to be. The movement looks okay. He just doesn't look very good. And it looks like he's hanging a lot of curveballs. He actually got away with it a couple of times last night where the curveballs were way up in the zone, but somehow Cardinals just watched it go by. But that is the traditional home run pitch. But Yu Darvish doesn't look right. And I don't know exactly if it's time, if he thinks he's going to get back to form, if the Padres think he's going to get back to form. But the truth of the matter is the Padres need him to come back to form. And especially if you're talking about moving Dylan Cease. And there's really not room for 2 older pitchers who aren't performing very well.
Well, I'm concerned because it looked like the velocity did go down a little bit. I mean, in terms of not saying he can't still be effective at times, but he does look like he's injured. Maybe they rushed him back too early. I don't know, but it's obviously a pressing need. 8 hits given up last night, 8 earned runs, 3 innings. I mean, it was a rough watch. And to that point about can you trade Dylan Cease now? Well, we're going to know so much over the weekend because if the Padres get swept or they lose 3 of 4, then you're seriously talking about selling. Because what's the real thing for the worst thing this team can do is just hold. If they just hold and don't do anything, like if we're being honest, yeah, could they get in the wild card? Yeah, I think they could. I think they're a better team than the Giants. But are they going to do anything? Probably not. So either go buy or sell and recoup some of these prospects because until you recoup some of these prospects, you're going to be dealing with the same thing year in and year out at the trade deadline. If you think this team has a shot, you're not going to be able to move because you don't have a farm system unless you're going to give up Salas or DeVries, which all indications are they're not doing. Darvish, I mean, starting pitching now has to be a serious concern because that felt like the most stable core out of the bullpen, starting pitching and in bats. But now with that was all kind of contingent on Darvish and King coming back. Hopefully King comes back, but I mean, is that happening? Like,
and also, who out there makes you all that much better? Like he's Sandy Alcantara. We kind of went over his numbers. Does he really make you that much better? Does Charlie Morton, outside of the postseason time where he becomes a different pitcher, really make you all that much better? I'm curious what the Padres do here, and maybe you're right, Sammy. Maybe it is time to just sell off as much as you possibly can and get back some prospects. We got all day to talk about the Padres. You got another story for us?
Yes. Raiders cut Christian Wilkins. This is an odd situation. So he signed a 4-year deal worth over $100 million, $110 million last year, and they cut him because apparently he didn't want to have another foot surgery because he got hurt 6 games into the season last year. He did not want to have another foot surgery that the Raiders wanted him to have. So they're voiding the money. He's now a free agent. The Raiders, the NFLPA is filing a suit against this, saying they can't do this and void all the guaranteed money. A, reaction to the situation, and B, where Christian Wilkins, do you think he could still be serviceable for teams going forward?
So there's a little line in all these NFL contracts that is, and I'll read the quote directly, quote, failure to maintain his physical condition to play. So now the Raiders can be a little sneaky with this. They can say, oh, he didn't want to get the surgery, and the surgery is necessary for him to come out there and compete at the level of what we signed him to this contract for. And Wilkins can say, look, I got a second opinion. I don't want that surgery. I don't think it's best for me. The Raiders could be playing a little ball here and saying, we just don't want to pay the rest of this money. And so they're using this as an excuse. And by the way, if that's the case, the NFLPA will win the suit against the Raiders. And I don't know that the Raiders care all that much. It was a lot of money to a guy who they believed was not performing as well as he should be. And so they tried to find a loophole to it. That's just kind of business in the NFL and guys getting screwed over. And it's been happening for years and years and years. So the NFLPA is doing exactly what they should, which is trying to get some of that money back from the Raiders.
Yeah, this feels a little bit like
it sucks for Wilkins.
It does suck for Wilkins. Now, I think Wilkins will get a job. This was a guy who was the top free agent a year ago in the NFL market. So even if he's hurt coming back, someone's going to sign him. Not to that contract, but someone's going to sign him. This feels a lot like the Lakers situation when they traded for Mark Williams and the trade went through. And then the Lakers said, you know what? He didn't pass his physical. There was really no details about why he didn't pass his physical. It felt like the Lakers knew that the trade didn't have the greatest reaction. It felt rushed. It felt like they gave up too much for Mark Williams and then kind of walked it back. And
Sammy, you're a young single guy. I'm sure there's been many a nights, maybe even last night, where you send a little bit risky text. And then you realize the next day, oh, should not have sent that.
That's what Pete Carroll did to Christian Wilkins?
I think so. A little bit risky.
I like that comparison.
Thank you. That works better for the Mark Williams one.
Yeah, I think everyone can relate to that.
Like Rob Pelinka's up in the GM's office. He's like, oh, didn't mean to send that.
He's a poor man's Rob Lowe.
That picture should not have gone through. Oh, God, can I resend it, please?
Last NFL story. So going to NFL rivalry unis are coming. So a few teams have debuted them. The NFL is kicking around the idea of doing like a rivalry jersey specific thing. Do you like this idea? Do you think that's cool? Or do you think that they should just stick with the unis?
Is that what the Packers dumb like blue jersey was?
I believe so. You didn't like, with the leather helmet?
The leather helmet actually looked kind of cool. The jersey looked dumb. It looks like a Buffalo Bills jersey. I'm fine if the NFL wants to try to make rivalry week a thing, but don't do what Major League Baseball did where you don't have actual rivals playing each other.
I'm with that.
And for teams that don't have natural rivals, don't let them.
But in the NFL, every team has pretty much a rival.
See, you say that, like, I honestly don't know who the Niners' true rival would be. Right, Seattle. But over the years, it's been the Cowboys at a certain time. It's been the Seahawks at a certain time. It's been the Raiders at a certain time when it was the battle for the Bay. Like, it's changed so much.
But there's multiple there. But I think at the end of the day, yes, if you go history, you go Cowboys. But I would say Seattle. Those Sherman, Crabtree battles, Russell, Kaepernick, those were like, that was a big deal. If you weren't a Niner fan, if you weren't a Seahawks fan, everyone tuned into that game. I like that the NFL is doing this. In all sports, it has hurt every other product. It has hurt the NBA. It has hurt the MLB. It has hurt every league that there used to be. The Lakers and Celtics, they still don't like each other, but they used to couldn't be around each other. They hate each other so much. The Red Sox, the Yankees. It feels like in the MLB and the NBA, everyone's friends. You see everyone chopping it up at first and second base. I like the NFL is really the last. The NFL and college football are the last two that have legit rivalries where they absolutely disdain each other. And I like that if the NFL is trying to highlight this, whether that be with unis and maybe something as irrelevant as that, I like that you're doing a thing where like the Chiefs playing the Raiders or the Niners playing the Seahawks or Dallas playing Philly. Like that's a fun thing that you can sell to the fans. And I do feel like most NFL teams have a true rival.
If it is rivalry week, please, for the love of God, put Steelers Ravens on Sunday Night Football.
Right.
Or Bengals Ravens, something like that on Sunday Night Football. Make the AFC North the shining star of that week because that's the best ones. All right. I like it. I think the Packers jersey is dumb though.
Yeah. The fake, I didn't love the fake leather helmet thing.
It just looks stupid. It was a swing and a miss, and we all swing and miss sometimes, like Sammy with those text messages every once in a while.
Are you reading my text?
No comment.
You have no access to my phone.
What's I don't remember the name of the Periscope or something like that. You can hack in. That's what the government uses to hack into our phones.
Are you breaking news here on the show? I've never heard of that in my life.
No, that's old. That's like 10 years ago.
70470.
I don't think it's called Periscope.
What the hell has Ben talking about?
I don't think it's called Periscope. This is like 10 years ago.
You think there's an app that you can use to break into other people's?
No, I couldn't use it, but the FBI could.
Well, yeah, I'm sure the FBI has things that we don't even know about.
Yeah.
What do they say? It trickles down. They're like 15 years ahead in technology.
That's exactly right. It all started back in Roswell,
maybe they're like
New Mexico.
flying. Maybe Comic-Con's like a test. Maybe they're like flying around with drones and stuff.
That UFO that crashed, I think that's what invented cell phones. Let's get conspiratorial on a Friday. I like it. All right, it's San Diego Sports 760. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, let's get into the Padres. Last night, maybe shined a light on some things that we need to be worried about here over the next week. That's next. San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. San Diego Sports 760, Ben, Fletcher, and Sammy Long with you till 2 o'clock today. And because I am positive somebody out there has already, we need a review on Happy Gilmore 2. Came out at midnight last night. I've either been sleeping or working in the hours that this movie has existed. So please let us know. If you've seen it, give us the review. We'll read it on air. We want to hear if it's good or not. San Diego FC back on the pitch tonight. They got Nashville at Snapdragon Stadium. You could hear the match live tonight starting at 7 o'clock right here on San Diego Sports 760, your home for SDFC. And if you're going to the game, John and Jim, and as well as us, the whole station, San Diego Sports 760, we'll have a booth down at Snapdragon Stadium where you have an opportunity to win a signed jersey from a bunch of players on the SDFC team. So make sure you go out there, check it out, give some love to the station. We'd love to see you tonight. All right, Sammy, someone had to have seen Happy Gilmore 2 in our audience, right?
Yeah, I'm sure. It's a classic movie. The first one was fantastic. I'm sure. I mean, people definitely stayed up till 12 p.m. and did it. 70470.
Start your message with team. If you have seen it already, I need to know a review. The online reviews are actually positive. They said it's full of nostalgia and fun and great heart in the movie. They didn't overdo it with the cameos, although there was a ton of cameos. But I want to hear from us, from our listeners. 70470. Start your message with team if you've seen the movie yet.
I'm excited. It should be good.
I'm watching it tonight, regardless of what I hear about it.
Well, yeah, no, nothing's gonna make me not like watch it.
I'm excited for it.
Yeah, Happy Gilmore is a classic. That's a fantastic movie. That was that Sandler's first big one after SNL?
No, because
because The Wedding Singer was around that time.
Billy Madison was before Happy Gilmore.
Billy Madison, fantastic
Shampoo
movie.
Is better.
You know, my favorite Sandler movie that doesn't get enough love is Little Nicky, where he's the devil's son.
Little Nicky's good. Little Nicky actually might have been first.
Really?
It might have been first. It might have gone Little Nicky.
Remember the dog, Mr. Beefy?
Yeah. I love even the sappy ones. Like Click makes me cry every time I watch it.
I gotta be honest, I don't think I've ever seen Click.
Christopher Walken kills in it. So
that's the
good.
one where he pauses life, right?
Yeah, it's a sad freaking movie, dude. It gets you at the end. Big Daddy, I think is fantastic. Sandler doesn't have too many misses, but his misses are horrendous misses.
The Wedding Singer is
Love
better.
The Wedding Singer.
The Wedding Singer is better than 50 First Dates.
I would agree with that. 50 First Dates is a classic, though. What's the
Jack and Jill's probably your favorite movie?
That's the worst one. That was the horrific miss that I was thinking of.
Listen,
the one with Sandberg.
They're not all first round draft picks.
The one with Sandberg was hysterical. That's
My Boy is one of the most underrated movies of all time.
I would agree wholeheartedly. And then that dumb money grab movie, the kids movie he did, Pixels or whatever, sucked.
That wasn't terrible, actually.
Awful.
It's kind of funny if you go back and watch it.
But Adam Sandler doesn't miss often. I can't wait to see what he did with Happy Gilmore 2. Hopefully it's good. All right, Padres. Last night, I felt like was such a flip-flop of everything we've been seeing. Everything this team has told you that they are, last night was the opposite of, because the offense was on fire. Xander Bogaerts was hitting balls off the wall. Fernando Tatis Jr. and Manny Machado both hit home runs in the same inning. First inning, Nando gets a single to start the game. Luis Ariz follows up with a double. First to home for Fernando. It's like that's how the offense should look more regularly. And you're thinking, oh, great. Padres are going to walk away with this one. Not so fast, because Yu Darvish was just serving up platters for guys to go to town on. Cardinals don't hit a lot of home runs. They were yesterday because Yu Darvish was just serving them up. Cardinals are not a super high offensive scoring team this year. They put 9 up yesterday. So it's just weird when you think that all the problems the Padres are having are one thing, and then a game like yesterday happens. You're like, oh, there's a whole nother batch of problems. This is tough.
Manny Machado, Fernando Tatis Jr., Jackson Merrill, and Luis Ariz combined for 10 hits.
It's awesome. Incredible.
If I would have told you that before the game, I would have said there's no shot in hell they're losing this game.
And within those hits, there was 2 home runs.
2 home runs. This team, I mean, it's frustrating. You go over the weekend, you start 3-1 after the All-Star break, and it was against teams that you didn't think were elite level competition, but you were winning ball games, so you take it. And then we've seen every time they step up in competition a little bit, not saying the Cardinals are some world-beating team, but they're right there in the hunt. Now the Giants are only a game back. The Cardinals are only 2.5 back. So there's 3 more this weekend against the Cardinals, and there's 3 more at Petco next week. So, I mean, all this, they've already decided they're buyers at the deadline. I don't believe that. I think we're hearing more and more about Dylan Cease being gone. I think Dylan Cease is going to command a lot of trade value considering the last minute. He is one of the most high-leverage starting pitchers left available to be moved. We'll see what the Diamondbacks do if they make a big move, trading Zach Gallen or Merrill Kelly. It sounds like Eugenio Suarez is going to be the one that's going to be dealt, but maybe those 2 get gone too because Josh Naylor just got shipped out of town. But yeah, it's this team is not inspiring a lot of confidence heading into the trade deadline with a team that is right on the cut line. It's just for an ownership that already has told you they don't want to buy and spend that much money. This is not the way to get them I feel bad for AJ Preller to be able to convince them to buy at the deadline.
858. Hey, gents, I would sell, and then overpay to get Alcantara. I would also sign King, but that's not looking good either. Unfortunately, Darvish is a nightmare. Can he just retire and the balance of his contract comes back to the Padres? Can he? Yeah, he could.
I don't think he's going to do that.
Would anyone?
That would be a fantastic thing that would happen. Alcantara, looking at the numbers.
I'll pause on that for a second because I think of any Major League Baseball player, I think Yu Darvish is the one guy who might actually consider doing something like that. We've talked to people before who say Yu Darvish is the most wildly loyal guy ever. And last year when he stepped away from the team due to personal issues, due to family issues, he did not take a salary when he was gone, and he could have. So
I'm going to be honest. There's no shot in hell I'm giving money back after I sign a contract.
I don't think so either. But I think if there was one guy who would even entertain that thought for a second, it might actually be Yu Darvish.
King would be the guy you'd love to see back. Alcantara, so he had a +7 ERA heading into the Padres game. He was very good against the Padres. Looking at some of the numbers, his velocity's been going back up. Like his stuff's there. That's why the Dodgers are in on him. The Yankees are in on him. All this stuff. It would be a big deal for the Padres if they were able to get Alcantara because you're not letting him go to LA or New York or something. Not that you care about New York, but one of those teams like that. And that wouldn't be the worst because he is under control for the next couple seasons. But it's just such a weird thing. We keep hearing they're buying, they're selling, they're trading Dylan Cease. But you felt good about trading Dylan Cease maybe. But now, I mean, if Yu Darvish does not look like he's healthy or has the stuff. And so you better know Michael King's coming back. The Padres better know that Michael King is legit coming back because it's been very hush-hush. It's been very kind of like, yeah, at some point. And I don't think you can go into a playoff series with Nick Pivetta as your only reliable pitcher thinking you're going to go far.
The only way it works for me is if you're moving Dylan Cease and or Jake Cronenworth and or Luis Ariz, just fit in a second name in there, right? And you're getting prospects back. You can't give all those prospects to get Alcantara.
Right.
You have to keep some in the bank as well. Like that's the only way this comes out on top for me, because otherwise it feels like you're just trading Dylan Cease, who's been a +4 ERA pitcher all year, for Sandy Alcantara, who's been a ERA all year?
He was +7 heading in the Padre game.
Yeah, it doesn't work for me mathematically. So I don't know what the Padres are going to do. I'm starting to agree more with Sammy that standing pat would be the worst thing you could do. I'm almost at this point just thinking, well, if this team's not going to be it, and if this ownership's already ready to be cheap, then might as well just get rid of everybody right now. Get all the prospects you possibly can.
Right, because the standing pat, the problem with that, in my opinion, is we're going to be looking in this with the same thing next year. Let's say, considering the ownership, they're not going to go out and be big spenders and change the lineup heading into next season. Well, then at the trade deadline a year from today, we're going to be looking at going, well, we don't have prospects to trade unless you want to include Salas or DeVries, which they clearly do not want to do, and especially DeVries. You got to get some of this back. Cronenworth could get something. I think Cease would get a lot, but it would be disappointing punting on the season, but I don't think it'd be the worst thing for future seasons.
Creed tickets coming up in the next segment. Also, are we about to see the first modern era NFL player truly play both ways? I mean, fully play both ways. It kind of seems like we're heading there. San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app.
Do you understand that we are less than a week away from preseason football, the Hall of Fame games between the Chargers and the Lions? I can't wait. I'm going to be watching the whole thing. Thank God football's back. This is what you got to do, though. Circa Million, Circa Survivor. Let me explain what they are first. Circa Million, you pick 5 games against the spread each week, for every week of the NFL season. All you got to do is you pick 5. It's $1,000 entry. You can go in with 10 buddies, go $100 a pop, or you can go $1,000 yourself. And every week of the season, you're picking 5 games. On the other side, Circa Survivor, all you got to do is pick 1 game a week. You don't have to worry about the point spread. Don't have to worry about the total. None of that nonsense. You got to pick 1 game each week. The goal is to go 20-0 or outlast the competition. Last year, they had 3 teams competing in the sportsbook at the end of the season. Looking at week 1 lines, if you're going with Circa Million, I think the Raiders, the New England favored at home against the Raiders, could be an interesting one. Dolphins, dogs on the road, Indianapolis, week 1. There's so many picks. If you think you know more than Vegas, play Circa Million. Sign up in Nevada, play from anywhere. Gives you an excuse to plan a summer Vegas trip and provides season-long fun all throughout the NFL season. The best part about it is while you're signing up, you get to relax in the Circa Sportsbook with wall-to-wall TVs outside in the pool with a cocktail in your hand, showing off that summer body you've been working on for the last few months. Win money now with Circa. This report sponsored by Wendy's new Takis Fuego meal. Padres back in action, losing 9-7, unfortunately, the St. Louis Cardinals last night. They'll be back tonight with Nick Pivetta on the mound. A little bit earlier start time, 4:15. And the Padres are currently favored by -130 on the money line. There will be 3 games over the weekend against the Cardinals. And SDFC back tonight here from Snapdragon, taking on Nashville at 7:30. Hear the game right here on San Diego Sports 760. San Diego's +150 on the money line. Nashville's +165, and a draw is sitting there at +260. Wendy's new Takis Fuego meal is here with a Takis Fuego chicken sandwich and small Fuego fries, inspired by Takis Fuego chips with a 1-ounce bag. Take Fuego bag and a drink. Grab yours today. Limited time only at participating U.S. Wendy's while supplies last. Takis and Fuego are used under license.
San Diego Sports 760. It's the Fletch Zone. Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2 o'clock. John and Jim will take over then. We got Creed tickets coming up within the next 7 minutes, so don't go anywhere. Sammy, we did 2 out of 3 again last night on long shots. This time it was you, Darvish, one of our own.
Woo. Dude, I'm the king of 2 of 3.
You're the king of almost. You know how often almost counts?
If you're not first, you're last.
That's
I
what I'm
expect
talking
perfection for our listeners.
And they expect perfection of you.
I know. I listen, I'm betting alongside. You think I'm happy about this? No.
We're getting back on track coming up at 12:45 today. We got a full weekend of stuff to choose from. When we enter this room on Monday,
we're going to have a big winner today.
It's going to be celebration. Shirts are coming off. Hair will be flowing. It's going to be nuts. All right. In the NFL, which we're 40 days away from, by the way, 40 days. That feels doable. That feels attainable. We're happy about that. But in the NFL, Travis Hunter is looking to do something that hasn't been done since 1962, when a gentleman named Chuck Bednarik was a full two-way player in the NFL. Travis Hunter, apparently all signs are pointing from the Jacksonville Jaguars that he will be playing both offense and defense as an every down player this year, which still doesn't really work in my head, I'll be honest. But if he is going to do it, if that's going to be what it looks like in Jacksonville this year, what does success look like for Travis Hunter? What is a successful season for a guy who has really high aspirations as a wide receiver and a guy who has really high aspirations as a defensive back, both of which he could be the best rookie in the NFL this year at either position if he chose to stuck to one. But what does actual success look like for a guy who's trying to do something that hasn't been done in the NFL since 1962, which, let me tell you, if you've seen any tape from the NFL in 1962, you can put it in your head how someone could do it then. But in today's NFL, with how hard everyone gets hit, with how fast the game moves, with how much intellectual processing it takes on every single snap, on every single play of every single game, how in the hell is this going to work? I still have no idea. But Sammy, I'll start with you. What does success look like for Travis Hunter this year if he is truly going to be playing both ways?
I think success for him is defined as being a player that is the generational player that we think he can be. Because this is a guy who everyone says you can't do it in the NFL, and maybe they're right. Maybe they're right in the fact that the toll it's going to take on your body, the amount of snaps that you're going to be playing every single game is going to be through the roof. But I will remind people that he did do this at Colorado, and this is not like Colorado is not Alabama. Colorado was not Ohio State, where there's a plethora of talent around them that he kind of got to sit back. I mean, it was literally Shador and him. And he got the ball every play, and they would test him all the time on defense. He had to come up and make tackles. Like, his stat lines were crazy. There were certain games he had like 200 yards receiving, 2 touchdowns, and he had an interception. I think he can be that kind of guy. Now, my worry is that Jacksonville is going to totally overuse him, because this is an organization that isn't every time there's a thought of, is London going to get a team? Who's the first team mentioned? Jacksonville. They don't have a big fan base. They're trying to kind of rebrand. They named the stadium after Trevor Lawrence. You got a young, talented receiver in Brian Thomas Jr. and Travis Hunter. Everyone's going to tune in. It's going to be sellable. People are going to want to see what happens. I hope they don't go for the sideshow with Shad Khan and use him to the point where he's injured, and truly use him as an exceptional player playing both ways, but not every snap both ways.
So as of right now, he is doing a day on offense, day on defense, day on offense, day on defense. He's kind of switching back and forth, or maybe it's a couple days on offense and a couple days on defense. But here's the quotes from Travis Hunter, and then I'll read a quote from Liam Cohen, who's the head coach of the Jags. Travis Hunter said, "I need to be able to process everything fast, quick. When I'm on the defensive side, if the offense changes their strength, I've got to know what I'm doing right away. And if the offense changes the play, I got to know what I'm doing right away. So I like that we're starting off slow, getting me adjusted, making sure I will know where I need to be on one side of the ball each day, and then it'll all come together." Here's the thing. If you talk to a guy like Rich Orenberger, and I wish he wasn't on vacation so we could have this conversation with him, coming from a place of expertise, like being the center, you have to know the entire offense inside and out, what every single person, all 11 people on your side of the ball are doing on any given play. When you talk to a guy like Rich, he'll explain to you that every organization you go to, every offense you play in, you are learning a new language. Each playbook is like all of a sudden you're having to download Duolingo and start listening to that language in your ears, because that's what it is. It's a language. So now imagine multiplying that by 2. So Travis Hunter, who's a rookie, who in college, a lot of the signs you get are directly from the coaches on the sideline, a lot of play cards or a lot of in your ear stuff. That's what it's like in college. Well, in the NFL, the quarterback's going to get into the huddle and say quite literally a language, and half of it's gibberish, half of it's meaningful. And it's your job to know which part's gibberish, which part's meaningful, and then go execute it. Defense, very similar. You see him huddle up. The middle linebacker says a bunch of things. That's the coverage you're in. You have to know what's going on. And then, by the way, everything changes as soon as you get up to the line, because the audibles happen on the offensive side. And like he just said, if the defense changes where their strength is, he has to know and respond to that immediately. Why are you trying to make football harder? And that question is directed at Liam Cohen. Already what I believe is the hardest sport to play in professional sports, you are making mentally tougher.
But I think the mental piece is not the problem.
I think it's a huge problem. I think that's a bigger problem than the physical.
He's been doing this at the D1 level.
He's been doing it at college. The NFL is a different animal.
Yeah, but I don't worry about the mental aspect. Like, say what you want about Deion Sanders, but I'm not worried that he's, first off, as a corner, it's going to be much harder to learn the offense from a receiver standpoint. As a corner, it's like you're playing zone coverage, and yes, there's a lot of intricacies that go into NFL defense. I'm not saying it's easy, but and man coverage at times, there's going to be like man up on your guy. I'm curious with this though, like looking at the schedule, they got the Panthers to open up, then they go Bengals, Texans, Niners, Chiefs, Seahawks. Are they going to matchup play him? Like, are they, when they're playing Cincinnati, are they going, they have two great receivers. We think that we can score on their trash defense. We're just going to have you on defense because we need you to lock up Jamar Chase. Or other games where you're playing an exceptional defense, or is he going to be playing more offense? Like, I'm curious if they're going to match up play him like that, because I do agree with you in the sense of the physical toll. I don't know, by rookies hit a wall anyway because there's only 10 games in the college football season. So you're already playing more games, and then he's going to be playing double the snaps. I don't know how he's staying up at week 9.
I'm really curious to see how it works. Now I kind of want the Jags to do it. Like, I don't care if the Jags win or lose a million games this year. I really don't care how their record ends up, but I do care about a fascinating story, which is exactly what this would be. If they actually do it and say he has great success, say he has it all year long, playing both sides of the ball. Is that something we start to see trickle down into the college level? Is that something we start to see trickle down to high school level? Hell, is it something we see trickle throughout the NFL? Like, you take your best athlete, if he's only on one side of the ball, like, no, we're going to move him to both. Like, is that going to be something that changes the game? And you see it in baseball already a little bit, where Shohei Ohtani, it's all of a sudden now giving guys in college the belief that, oh yeah, why do I have to be a pitcher only? Why do I have to stop focusing on offense as soon as I get into high school?
And to that point, we've always seen like trick plays. We've seen guys Edelman was a quarterback in college. So the Patriots would always kind of, if they were going to do a trick play where Brady wasn't throwing the ball, it was typically going to Edelman because he does have an arm. Like, some of these guys played running back. Corners played running back. I remember Marcus Peters for the Chiefs. He played running back in high school. He was like a really good running back, but they moved him to corner because he thought he had quicker feet. Like, you can play other positions. I do think we'll start to see that if he's successful. He's kind of the test subject, because it's one thing to do it in baseball where you don't have guys get injured in baseball, but they're not getting hit every play. I mean, this is the most physical sport that you're going into. I'm excited to see it. I really just hope for Travis Hunter's sake that they don't run him into the ground to sell tickets, because I think it's completely going to depend on the Brian Thomas Jr. taking a next step, because he was one of the most exciting young receivers last year. If he takes the next step, then all of a sudden Travis Hunter can come in on spot packages on offense. But if he takes a step back and you asking Travis Hunter to be the number one receiver, that could be trouble.
It's also, if you're asking Travis Hunter to just be a slot receiver and just be a slot corner, that changes things, right?
Well, I think he'll be the number one corner regardless.
So he's guarding Jamar Chase when they play the Bengals?
Because I don't think, as a corner, you have less to learn than a receiver.
I agree with that. But what I'm saying is, if you're splitting up his duties, if you want to make that a little more doable, if it's a true two-way situation and not doing what you said, which I believe is the smart idea, where it's matchup based, it's if you're playing the Bengals, he's defense only. But if it's a true two-way player, he's playing every single down, every single game, both sides of the ball. Is he just a slot and just a slot corner? Because that makes more sense to me. All right, well, we're going to find out.
Real quick, last thing before we're going to break. From a fantasy football impact, I am really curious because people are going to draft him high.
I'm not taking him.
If they get, now the Jags aren't a great team, but I think they are going to surprise some people this year. If they are up in games, they're going to get him out of there. Because why would you, if they're up by 2 touchdowns, they're not going to have him in the game, because why would you want him to take extra hits knowing he's already taking extra hits? I'm telling you, halfway through the season, fantasy football managers are going to be pissed because they're going to take him out of a game when they're winning in it, and it's going to cost them.
I'm in a dynasty league where you draft rookies every year, and I could get him where I am. I think I have like the 5th overall pick or something like that, and usually quarterbacks go really fast in my league. I could get him where I'm at. I'm not taking him.
You going Genty?
If he's there, he's not going to be there. I bet you Genty's the 1st overall.
I was debating that last night with my boys. I was like, who is the 1st overall pick in fantasy? Is it Saquon?
It's in normal drafts. I would say it's probably Saquon. And then it's going to be a mix of Genty, Chase.
Because Genty's going to be like you're going to take a rookie. Like, I'm not against it because the Raiders are going to run him into the ground like they did Josh Jacobs. And he's going to be exceptional because he's a really good player. But taking a rookie at like number 2 overall, like even Justin Jefferson has problems because you have a new quarterback, JJ McCarthy.
I'd say next week is an acceptable time for us to have our first fantasy football expert on of the season.
Text us 70470. Start your message with team. Let us know who you're taking number 1 overall in fantasy.
It's got to be Saquon, right? All right, it's San Diego Sports 760. Take a quick break. Long shots on the other side. Sammy, time to make some money in daily fantasy sports. That's up next, live on the iHeartRadio app. San Diego Sports 760. Happy Friday, everybody. Thank you for being here. We do appreciate it. My name is Ben Fletcher. That's Sammy Long. We're about to do a little segment we call Long Shots, where Sammy puts together a daily fantasy sports lineup for you for the entire weekend. I did just want to say a funny story that's happening in golf right now. So there's only a couple of tournaments left until the FedEx Cup Championship, which is August 7th through the 10th. And so guys are fighting right now. So everybody who has enough points to get into the final tournament of the year, which is the FedEx Championship, if they're already in, they're not playing the next couple of weeks. But the guys who are on the line, like Max Homa, has to play this week and next week, most likely, in order to get into the FedEx Championship, which is worth $20 million, which is huge money. So Max Homa is about to have his second kid. And so he's talking about how well he needs to
never put family first.
Well, no, here's the thing, Sammy. So he is trying to not put family first and be there for the birth of his child. But if he doesn't do well enough this week, he won't qualify for the FedEx Championship, which is coming up in 2 weeks, meaning he'll have to play next week as well.
Yeah.
Listen. So there is a lot on the line for Mr. Homa over the next 3 days. And right now he's tied for 32nd or something.
There's plenty of time for family later down the road. Okay. Get your money now, Max.
Spoken like a true single man.
Do you think it's probably going to be bad if he's not there?
If he's not there for the birth of his second child? Yeah, I'd say that's probably pretty bad.
No, I'm saying like that. That's probably not going to go over too well.
But you could tell the missus, like, hey, I'm standing to make 20 mil next week if I miss the birth of the child.
Yeah, honestly, what do you do there? Because if you're
Mrs. Homa,
if I was pregnant, if I was Mrs. Homa, I'd say go get that money. I got this thing all wrapped up.
Yeah, but Max Homa's already made a lot of money. He's probably going to continue to make a lot of money.
Yeah, but he's not.
But if you miss out on an opportunity at 20 mil,
always get that money. This is long shots. I mean, this is what we do. We're all about the money here on the Fletch Zone.
Yeah, can you make us some finally?
Oh,
that's a little harsh. That's a little harsh.
First off, be respectful, okay? You know what we learned yesterday? So we did a 3-pick lineup. Someone listener very kind yesterday said I should do 2-pick lineups because I've been doing 3 and I keep hitting 2 or 3. Which I understand, but when I was negative yesterday, both unders hit.
Yeah, they did.
I put faith in you, Darvish. I think we all wanted to put faith in you, Darvish. We were rooting for you, Darvish. So not only did it not come through for the Padres, but they didn't come through for long shots. So should we be negative?
I think we should be negative. You know what's even worse? I added a couple pieces onto your long shots from yesterday, and both my added pieces hit.
Really?
So I was standing to make a lot of money yesterday. And you, Darvish, got me too. Well, Sammy, it's time for some serious faith in Sammy. Let's get after it. Smash that button. Long shots.
Let's see. Underdogs? Nah, that's old. Those with a less than good chance of winning? Too wordy. Wait, he's all big time now, huh? It's time for Sammy's Long Shots. Hold on. Can't talk until I say the important stuff. Long Shots is presented by Circa Million and Circa Survivor. Now, go.
I will say you have a good streak going on Fridays. I feel like there's been a lot of Friday winners.
Yeah, Tyler on YouTube said Happy Flex Friday.
Happy Flex Friday.
Guess what? If you flex Friday, you get your money back. So
yeah.
Can't really be upset. You can only win.
We got a nice UFC card this weekend for a fight night.
Exactly.
That's Peter Yan on the board.
So
Robert Whitaker. This is a good card.
I'm going to give you the choice. How many entries do you want? Because I have a lot put up here. But
Flex Friday. Go all 6. I don't care. Let's get wild.
Okay, 6 might be a little much.
Let's go 5.
We are trying to win. I regret asking you now. Okay. We're going to start with the Padres. I'm going to put faith in one more Padres pitcher. Okay. And if they sell me, I'm going to be very frustrated. We're going with Nick Pivetta, though. More than 5 strikeouts. I'm going to tell you why. This is a big game for the Padres. We're not exaggerating. Nick Pivetta has been the ace of the staff. They need to win this game tonight because the Giants are creeping up on the division. The Cardinals are 2.5 back now. This is your best, most consistent pitcher going tonight. I think why I'm going over on 5 pitcher strikeouts, I couldn't find the outs total. I think Schultz going to leave him in because you have a big weekend ahead. The Mets coming next week. The Cardinals again. You do not want to ruin the pen on Friday night. You already went to him early last night after Darvish only goes 3 and a third. You got to save this pen. I think Pivetta has ample opportunity to get 5 strikeouts, and I think he's also a very talented pitcher. So we're going to go Nick Pivetta, more than 5 pitcher strikeouts. Nick, please. We need it. We need it tonight. We need a Padres pitcher to come through for us. Okay.
I like it.
All right, then let's go to Ryan Nelson. This is more of a hunch pick, okay? Playing Pittsburgh, Arizona Diamondbacks, going for he's a pitcher for the Arizona Diamondbacks, young pitcher, talented pitcher. They like him over there in Phoenix. But here's the thing with Ryan Nelson. They're just about to sell everyone. Naylor's got traded. Eugenio Suarez is about to get traded. We believe that Merrill Kelly is going to be getting calls on, as well as Zach Gallen. I don't know if they're going to move him, but hopefully that doesn't happen for the Padres, because if the Padres are going to move Dylan Cease, you'd like Dylan Cease to be the best name open on the market. If Zach Gallen or Merrill Kelly enter the conversation, that might not be the case. But I do think they're going to be listening to offers for everyone. They've already made it clear they are sellers. They are not trying to win this year. So what that means is we're not going to go deep into the pen tonight. We're going to be saving all these pitchers because I think they're going to be selling everyone off. So Ryan Nelson's going to get kind of another pitcher, ample opportunity tonight. 4 strikeouts, more than he's a talented pitcher. He doesn't get talked about enough because it's a very talented rotation when fully healthy. But I think they're going to let Nelson go a little ways and trade some of the vets and kind of build around Ryan. So I think he's going to go a ways tonight. This is, again, ahead of the trade deadline. We can use it to our advantage when we're gambling.
So far, you're not very negative.
Yeah, I said that, and then I realized all mine were more. But if you want to flip them, you have a veto.
What's next?
We're going to the UFC. Robert Whitaker, main event, 13.25 fight time. So this is an interesting fight because he's fighting an up-and-coming guy, De Ritter. He's a French dude, I believe. But
Rainier? Rainier De Ritter?
Rainier De Ritter. He beat Bo Nickel, though. So Bo Nickel was a very talented fighter who the UFC really put a lot behind as one of the next future stars, American stars. He beat him. Very talented fighter. Robert Whitaker's fun. Australian, been in the UFC a long time. He's a puncher.
He's the Reaper.
Yeah, that's
his name.
He doesn't like to wrestle a lot. He likes to stand there and throw. Now, De Ritter, it likes to grapple. So this fight, I'm going to go over on the distance more than 13.25 minutes because it's a 3-round fight. I think it goes the distance because I think both are going to have success. De Ritter's too talented to just get caught early from Whitaker, but I also think Whitaker is not going to get submitted. He's a fighter. De Ritter's stepping up in class. He's never faced a fighter of this caliber. So I think it's going to be a lot of feeling out early on in this fight, which leads us to a decision. So more than 13.25 fight time. And then Peter Yan in the co-main event, more than 77.5 significant strikes. Again, old fighters. You got to play to your advantage. Old fighters, they hang in there. He may not be winning this fight, but he stands there and trades. He had a great fight with Sugar Sean O'Malley that a lot of people thought Sugar Sean actually lost. I thought Sugar Sean won that fight. I thought he landed more damage. People thought Yan landed more rounds. Yan was a former champion, really talented fighter in the UFC for a long time. But I don't know if he wins this fight. But again, 77.5 strikes, I think, is very manageable. I do not think he gets submitted or knocks out. A lot of these guys just hang around, kind of your Cowboy Cerrones, these guys that kind of age in the UFC for a long time. So to recap, Peter Yan, more than 77.5 significant strikes. Robert Whitaker, more than 13.25 minutes fight time. Nick Pivetta, more than 5 pitcher strikeouts. And Ryan Nelson for the Arizona Diamondbacks, more than 4 pitcher strikeouts. Fletch, you got a problem with any of it?
No, I don't. I actually like it a lot. I'd probably add Bryce Mitchell on there.
You want to add? Okay,
let's add Bryce Mitchell's fight time as well. He's going to go the distance.
Bryce Mitchell fight time, going to go the distance. A young, talented fighter in the UFC that they got a lot behind.
Likes to wrestle.
Okay. So what if you sell the parlay?
Then I'll feel really bad.
Hit it with that Flex Friday, everybody. Stream right here.
I forgot to do that. I'll have to make another Flex Friday lineup. That's just a real one. All right. Well, we're going to take a quick break. Hour number 2 is coming up next. Steve Hartman at 1:30. We're going to go all over the world with Steve. Plus, we got another big 3 with the top stories in the world of sports. An injury in the NFL that happened 30 minutes ago that, speaking of fantasy football, could have a real impact on your season. That's next. San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app.
This sports sponsored by Rapid Radio's STFC back on the pitch tonight, live from Snapdragon 7:30. You can hear that game right here on San Diego Sports 760. They're going to be taking on Nashville. STFC is currently favored by a goal. They're plus 150 on the money line, while Nashville's plus 265 or plus 165. If you like the draw, it's plus 260, and the goal total is set at 2.5. And the Padres are back tonight, a little bit earlier start time, 4:15. Nick Pivetta is going to be on the mound for the Padres game 2 against the Cardinals in a crucial series to determine NL wild card. Rapid Radios are instant push to talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage and no subscriptions ever. A great alternative to a mobile phone for your kids. For a limited time, go to rapidradios.com now for 60% off and free UPS shipping. Add code radio and get extra 5% off.
Welcome to the Fletch Zone.
I'm Ben Fletcher. That's Sammy Long.
Well, don't keep us in suspense any longer. Show us what you got.
No fluff, just facts.
People have spoken.
Text line, you guys are crazy. I
What the hell even is that? Are you talking about the 484 text?
I don't understand it, bro.
There's no way I could read that, but
No, you
what
can't
is
read-
it?
okay,
Seriously, 484. No, text me what that is. I'm very, very curious.
Okay.
Might as well help out my best friend, right?
Now it's time to enter
In it to win it.
the Fletch Zone.
San Diego Sports 760. It's hour number 2 here. Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2 o'clock. John and Jim will take over then. John and Jim with some cool information on a prize you could win by going to the SDFC game tonight. All right, let's get right into here, hour number 2, because I got a football conspiracy theory that I want to unveil in about 10 minutes. We'll do that coming up next. We got the big 3 coming up in, 35 seconds. We also have some Wiz Khalifa tickets still to give away here on the show today. So don't go anywhere. Steve Hartman's coming on at 1:30. We'll get back to the Padres in just a bit, but Sammy Long, let's waste no time getting into this because we got a story popping off in the NFL right now. Let's smash that button.
Your lunch break is here. Ready to go back to the office and knock the socks off your friends? Coworkers? It's time for the top stories of the day. The Big Three.
Okay, so we have some potential breaking news out of the NFL.
All the Chiefs are getting suspended for a full year. That's what I
Shut your
read.
mouth.
Yeah, the whole
God.
Chiefs team guilty. Guilty.
I mean, that's what it would take for Brock Purdy to possibly have success in a
Oh.
playoff game, but
Wow.
that's a story for another game. Sources, at least 100 players face penalty over Super Bowl tickets. So for those of you who don't know, this just came down. At least 100 players from roughly half of the NFL's 32 teams face fines and possible suspension for allegedly selling their allotted tickets to this year's Super Bowl above face value in violation of league policies, according to multiple sources from ESPN. Wow. So
This is crazy. So from in the last 2 minutes from what I've read on this thing is that basically the NFL has launched an investigation because players from all 32 teams, not just the 2 teams who are involved, but all 32 teams were going and selling their allotted tickets for the Super Bowl at like 25 to $3,000 a piece, up to like $10,000 a piece. And this is obviously crazy because they were given those tickets or sold at face value from the league, and you could have a certain amount of tickets you could buy. So this is what the quote is from the NFL. Our initial investigation has determined that a number of NFL players and coaches employed by several different NFL clubs sold Super Bowl tickets for more than the ticket's face value in violation of the league policy. This long-standing policy, which is specifically incorporated into the collective bargaining agreement, prohibits league or club employees, including players, from selling NFL game tickets acquired from their employer for more than face value or for an amount greater than the employee originally paid for the ticket, whichever is less. So this is going after everybody who goes to these quote-unquote bundlers who will approach players and approach team employees and say, hey, man, those tickets you got grabbed from the NFL, we'll take them off your hands for $2,000 for the whole batch. And then they go and sell them for like $2,500 a piece. And players probably thought, oh, this is an easy way to make a couple bucks. Meanwhile, they're going to either be fined or suspended. Some players have already taken the fine to avoid their name being put out there. That sounds like something Patrick Mahomes would do to me.
shut the hell up.
Bang. I mean, I couldn't say I wouldn't do the same thing. Someone approached me and was like, hey, those
Listen,
tickets.
They threw the suspension in there in the wording that they could suspend players. I would be shocked. That would be a really weird thing to be suspended. Like, what are you going to suspend them? But how many games is that? You get a game for selling tickets above face value? You make a couple $1,000s. Why don't you just take it out of their paycheck? Like, that's That's crazy to me. I hope this doesn't become a thing. It would be a really big bummer at the first start of the season if a player from all 32 teams happens to be suspended. And by the way, it's probably all really good players, because I don't think the fifth tight end on the practice squad is getting access to Super Bowl tickets in terms of the NFL.
From how I understand it, because even I think Rich got a certain allotment of tickets when he went to the Super Bowl with the Patriots, and he was on injured reserve by that time. But you have to buy the tickets.
But if you play in the game, you get right to more tickets.
Right, but you still have to buy them. You pay something for them.
Yeah. Yeah, that's if they suspend, that's stupid.
It's kind of shady. It's like you win free tickets from somewhere and you turn around and sell it. That's shady. It's also illegal.
Yeah. That doesn't matter.
It matters a little bit. I mean, obviously the NFL is going to make sure.
The NFL's making billions and billions of dollars. They can eat this one.
Wow, Sammy.
Ridiculous.
That means Sammy thinks there's a bunch of guilty Chiefs.
I don't care who is. I don't want to hear excuses for when we play the Chargers week 1 and if Herbert's sitting out, and then it's like, all this stuff. Anyway, all right, let's move on. Still the NFL. So the Bears have been struggling offensively in camp. The Bears offensive coordinator Doyle not concerned with offensive struggles right now. Caleb Williams did not complete any of his passes inside the 20-yard line during 7-on-7 drills, where he went 0-5 with back-to-back interceptions and a drop pass. Is Caleb Williams the number one quarterback and number one player in the NFL with the most pressure on him heading into next season?
Not in the whole entire NFL, no. In terms of second-year quarterbacks, I would say absolutely, because there's a lot of expectations on Caleb Williams when he was coming out in the draft process. And this offseason, his dad did not make his life any easier by talking about all the, we were considering saying no to Chicago. And then the story that comes out about Caleb Williams not knowing how to watch film. There's just been a lot around Caleb Williams. And so if he comes out there and really struggles, now training camp means absolutely nothing. I want to preface all this by saying that. But Caleb Williams is facing an extreme amount of pressure because now you have the coach. Now you have the offensive line. Like this year, where last year he could deflect blame quite a bit, it was a bad offensive line. I still think he held onto the ball way too long. But this year, you have the best offensive coordinator in the game as your head coach. They spent on an offensive line for you. You have some wide receivers entering year 2. Rome Odunze, I think, is a stud. This is no longer anyone else's fault. This is now Caleb's fault if it doesn't work with the Bears.
Really. Again, training camp, everyone throws interceptions in training camp. You're trying to take risks with an offense. You're trying to try things out.
Weird. When Aaron Rodgers threw a pick 6 yesterday, you were like, Aaron Rodgers sucks. He's washed.
Well, but we've seen that over years that Aaron Rodgers was. By the way, report that literally just hit my phone. The Steelers not closing the door on having Aaron Rodgers beyond 2025. Oh, my poor Steeler fans. Whoa, my God. That's a story for another day. Anyway, in terms of the Bears, Caleb Williams, certainly has the most pressure on him of second-year quarterbacks. Jayden Daniels, if he has a regression, everyone's going to go. That's expected. Everyone has a regression. Bo Nix, I think, has a lot of pressure on him because people are picking the Broncos to go aways. Drake May, I feel like the team's not really around him in the sense. And Michael Penix didn't get to play last year too much outside of a couple games at the end of the season. So Caleb Williams certainly has the most pressure of second-year quarterback. And honestly, he's outside of, I'd say, Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson, he'd be up there. Because with Herbert, because the entire team is built with him. This is not a team that he got drafted number 1 overall pick. So what you mentioned last year, the offensive line was bad. The defensive line was bad. Well, they got 4 new starters in the offensive line. They changed the entire defensive lineup. They got a new offensive-minded head coach. They drafted in the first round Rome Odunze last year. They went tight end in the first 10 picks this year. Like, they have given him ample opportunity. So I'm pulling for Caleb Williams. I think he's going to be really good. I do think the Bears are going to be really good this year. But interesting reports out of training camp so far. The Padres' third story. So MLB ranked the teams at the deadline that are most desperate need of making a move. The Padres are 6th behind the Yankees, Phillies, Tigers, Mariners, and Mets. They are ahead of the Blue Jays and the Dodgers. So some of the deals that have just came down. Josh Naylor got traded to the Diamondbacks. The Yankees just got third baseman McMahon.
From the Diamondbacks to the Mariners.
Excuse me. Yankees trading for Ryan McMahon from the Rockies.
Do you see the Mets traded for a dude named Soto?
Yeah, they got a left-hander. So
Gregory Soto. But no, the problem is the headlines today. We're all Mets trading for Soto, but they weren't very clear about. I thought when I opened up the thing, like the Mets traded Juan Soto.
Oh, that's funny. But the Yankees traded for Ryan McMahon. So that means they're probably out on Eugenio Suarez because he's the third baseman that everyone wants. Maybe Cubs. Obviously, the Padres aren't in on him. But if they don't do anything, Will you be more mad if they rank the 3, buying, selling, holding, in terms of anger?
Holding is number one, most anger. Selling completely, while I do think it might actually be the logical choice at this point, would be the second most angry. I want them to buy. I do. I feel like Padres fans deserve it more than anything. And I do think this team, if it gets polished up a little bit, if the offense looks like it looked last night, has a shot to win it this year. I really do think that. Like, if you're scoring 7 runs, if Manny Machado and Fernando Tatis Jr. are swinging it well, if Luis
Not
Ariz,
if you're giving up 9 runs.
Of course not, Sammy. But the pitching staff, for the large part this year, has not given up 9 runs. How many 1-0 games have the Padres won this year? It's like 6 or 7. This team does have a shot. Yeah, they need a little juice.
They have a shot, but it's not a good shot.
But how much better is that shot going to be over the next few years? The answer is it's going to continue to get worse.
Then selling needs to be the number one option.
No, it doesn't, because you're locked into multiple contracts for the next 10 years that are only going to get worse. This might be your best chance with this group to go get a World Series.
You can't just – what's the definition of insanity?
Doing the same thing over and over again,
expecting different results.
Well, you were a game away from getting to what a lot of people thought was a World Series last year.
Do you think this team is as talented as last year?
Yeah, I do, actually.
Really?
What's the big difference? They're all still there.
The fact that most of the top of the lineup is not performing the same way. Tatis is not performing the way he was last year.
But you got to ask more of those guys.
Well, I know, but
it's not going to get better by trading all of them away.
Okay, it's almost the end of July. Like, at what point we keep saying ask more of the guys, ask more of the guys. Yes, they've been asking. Everyone's been asking. Everyone's been wanting them to play better, and they've had ample opportunity to play better. I'm not saying the Padres are done.
Right, but pulling the plug and hitting reset now, it means this group's never going to have a shot to do it.
That's not necessarily true. If you were to trade Dylan Cease and get some prospects back, then you could recoup. Because, by the way, if you trade Dylan Cease somebody, that doesn't mean that you're out of the NL wildcard picture. I think they certainly could be the 3rd wildcard spot. But this team has not shown enough promise to go, they really are that next elite level team. So unless you're going to go buy big, you're going to go get a home run player that you're like, oh, wow, this really changes the fortunes. Holding is the worst thing this team could do. That is an abject disaster, because then you're going to go to the deadline next year with a team with the same stars, probably hanging around the same record, talking about the same conversations about how they're in the wild card. They're not the Dodgers, but they are a team that's a threat to the Dodgers. It would be hell in the NL. And then you're going to have no prospects to give up in a trade again, like we're seeing this year. So recoup some of those prospects or go all in. I would recoup prospects. That's just me personally. I think that's the smarter long-term play for a team that especially doesn't really want to spend money. But I get it from AJ Preller's perspective of the fact that I think AJ Preller's done a really good job, but he could be the odd man out if he does trade players away because he doesn't have a contract after next season. But I mean, we'll see. I just think holding is a massive mistake.
It'd be a huge mistake. They're going to do something. I just don't know what that is right now. I do think they should buy still, even if they lose the next couple games. All right, Wiz Khalifa tickets right now. How about that? 4-pack of tickets to go see Wiz Khalifa with Dom Kennedy, Action Bronson, Earl Sweatshirt, and more at the North Island Credit Union Amphitheater on Friday, August 8th. Tickets and info at livenation.com. Caller number 7-877-767-4760. You're going to the show courtesy of San Diego Sports 760.
What are you doing over there?
That was a little hiccup.
You do that a lot. What are you drinking over there?
No, I had a Fig Newton, and then I had a big gulp of water right after. And I think that got me a little hiccupy.
I'm sorry to all our listeners.
San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. Congrats to whoever gets Wiz Khalifa tickets. We'll be right back with some NFL news that could deeply impact the fantasy football season. That's next. San Diego Sports 760. Steve Hartman going to be jumping on in about 10 minutes. And San Diego Sports 760, we got 13 chances every weekday for you to win $1,000 with the bonus bucks giveaway. Listen for the keyword, enter it at sportssd.com. Your next chance to win $1,000 coming up at 2:00 right here on San Diego Sports 760. Great song choice, Sammy.
Great song. Santa Monica, Everclear.
All right. Steve Hartman in 10 minutes from right now. We're going to get into a lot of stuff with Steve, including the future of the Lakers, which who knows what that's going to lead to, including USC's chances this year. Steve Hartman, big Southern California college football guy.
I also want to ask him his thoughts as the king of date night about Coldplay and what happened there.
That's a good one.
I think Steve could have some very hot takes that may get us canceled, but then again, Steve, it's Uncle Steve. Uncle Steve can say whatever he wants.
Until he can't, which we might be approaching that day sooner rather than later.
No, everyone understands that Uncle Steve gets special passes.
All right, I do have a conspiracy theory about this NFL season. I just kind of want to lay out there. Sammy, you tell me if I sound crazy or not. So 45 minutes ago, Adam Schefter puts out a tweet that says Justin Jefferson, who's the star wide receiver for the Minnesota Vikings, has left practice due to a mild hamstring strain and will be reevaluated next week. Cool. We get that. It's preseason. Hamstrings happen, especially with wide receivers. Hamstrings also happen to be the most commonly faked injury in the NFL. When guys are looking for a holdout situation or guys are looking for a new contract, they'll show up to camp. They'll say, I'm here. I'm ready to go. Oh, but I got a hammy, so I can't practice today. And also I want a new contract. Justin Jefferson has a huge contract. One of the highest paid wide receivers in NFL history. Did he just get beat out by Jamar Chase? He was. Yeah,
Jamar Chase just passed him.
So he was the highest paid wide receiver in NFL history. Is there a chance that Justin Jefferson is faking this injury? And I can understand why, because the Minnesota Vikings go from Kirk Cousins, where he puts up 1,000 yards 3 years in a row, to Sam Darnold, where he puts up 1,000 yards, to now JJ McCarthy, to where he's like, am I really about to do this again? Because Justin Jefferson, maybe he feels like, look, I had a good thing going with the other two guys. You're really asking me for my third quarterback over the last 5 years? What if Justin Jefferson wants out? There's my NFL conspiracy theory.
I don't think you're crazy. I gotta be honest with you. I think there's something to that. I don't know that he wants out. I think we would hear that, but I think it is a hard sell to the team when Kirk Cousins was beloved. But I think people understood Kirk Cousins was and this is no shot. Alex Smith is one of my favorite players of all time. Brought the Chiefs back to relevancy, but a very kind of Dak Prescott, Alex Smith of a quarterback where you go, listen, they're excellent, provide a lot of wins for the team, but are they really getting us over the hump? No. So I think people were okay with Kirk Cousins leaving, and I understood why Minnesota got rid of him. But then Sam Darnold comes in, who was just thought to be a bridge quarterback to JJ McCarthy. And for everyone to say about Sam Darnold about how, he got exposed in the Lions game, the Rams game, which he did not play well in either game. So we got to be honest about it. But they did have 14 wins, and he was in the NFL MVP conversation.
And Justin Jefferson had 103 catches for 1,500 yards and 14, how many touchdowns? 10 touchdowns last year, which was equal to a career high.
So you blow him out, get McCarthy in there, who was coming into last year's draft, the most developmental quarterback in the first round there was going to be. Because even though he played on the national championship game at Michigan, he had 7 straight games, final 7 games. He didn't throw more than 1 touchdown in any of those games. It was a very run-first offense, defense, and there were some not great, actually, teams in those games. And then he gets hurt in training camp, even though he has a good preseason. Like, I understand where if you're Justin Jefferson, you're frustrated. Like, hey, stop changing my quarterback on me.
Yeah, it's annoying. All Justin Jefferson has done throughout his career, by the way, outside of the 2023 season where he was injured for like 5 or 6 games, all he's done is put up a minimum of 1,400 yards with an average catch length of over 15 yards and about 9 touchdowns a year, we'll say. That's all he's done throughout his career. If he keeps doing that, he is a walk-in to the Hall of Fame, first ballot, automatic. And the dude's doing it with a bunch of different quarterbacks.
And you have him, you have Addison, who's no slouch. Jordan Addison's a really talented young player.
Dealing with a little DUI situation right now, but stud.
Yeah, but stud player. This is a team, you're in maybe the most ultra competitive division in football.
Super underrated defense, which was great last year.
Brian Flores had that thing running. And then you're in a division where there's not a bad team in it. There's not a team that you look at in the NFC North and go, they're trash. That's 2 wins every year. So you're basically telling the fan base, unless JJ McCarthy comes out and has a Justin Herbert debut season or Mahomes or something like that, which I don't know that that's going to happen. I think he has talent, but he's very developmental. I'm sure Justin Jefferson's like, I don't want to be playing with developmental quarterbacks. I want to be winning. We were in a playoff game last year. We had a shot at the last week of the season to be the number 1 overall seed, and now we're dealing with a guy who hasn't played in a game in 2 seasons.
If Justin Jefferson gets traded, you heard it here first.
We're gonna give you credit, Fletch.
I appreciate that. I really do. All right, we'll take a break. Steve Hartman coming up next. We'll see what wacky stuff he's been up to, and we got to find out what that quote emergency press conference was from last week.
Yeah, he bailed on us last week, so we expect it's Steve 2.0 today.
Yeah, I doubt it. I doubt it was an emergency conference call or whatever BS excuse he had. We're gonna find out what it was coming up next at San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. Hey, it's Fletch for Gary Cooper over at Mountain Trust Mortgage and Realty. Visit them online today at mountaintrustmortgage.com or give them a call at 858-376-1299. Gary Cooper is here today. And Gary, I wanted to ask you about a phrase you threw out a couple weeks ago. It's exact rate. What does that mean within the home buying or refinancing process?
I know that's something I never really talk about except for when I'm in front of my customers. So this might be good for your listeners. I have the ability to lock in not only your interest rate, but also your term at an exact rate and term, meaning that you don't have to go back to a 30-year if you've already paid 3 or 4 years into your loan. So I can refinance. You can take cash out, pay off debt, whatever you need to do, and I can put you on a 26-year term, a 27-year term, and that goes for the interest rate too. So I can customize your circumstance specifically to what your needs are. And you don't, like I said, you don't have to go back to a 30-year term if you don't want to. If you're into it for a 24-year term, I could do a new 24-year term. And the interest rate is going to be exact, meaning that you're not paying any points or additional cost to get that advertised or that gimmick interest rate. So it's all customized.
Get straight mortgage answers by calling Mountain Trust Mortgage and Realty today, 858-376-1299, or visit them online at mountaintrustmortgage.com. Thank you, Gary.
This sport is sponsored by Anderson Plumbing, Heating, and Air. SDFC back on the pitch at Snapdragon tonight at 7:30. Hear that game right here on San Diego Sports 760. They'll be taking on Nashville, bringing a record of 14-5-5, while SDFC hangs at 13-4-7. SDFC is currently plus 150 on the money line. And the Padres back a little bit earlier start time, 4:15 against the Cardinals. Nick Pivetta will be on the mound going for the Padres. Is that a weird rattle in your HVAC system or the sound of expensive guessing? At Anderson Plumbing, Heating, and Air, we give you 3 real options, guaranteed, or your visit is free. Nobody wows clients like we do. AndersonPHA.com.
San Diego Sports 760, about 30 minutes left here. Ben Fletcher, Sammy along with you till 2. John and Jim will take over then. Make sure you're listening to John and Jim to find out some info on how you could win a fully signed SDFC jersey at tonight's game. Steve Hartman joining the show right now. And Steve, you bailed on us last week. What was going on there? I heard the excuse was an emergency conference call. I don't know if I buy that.
Well, I don't want to get into details exactly why it was an emergency, but let's just say it was a unavoidable roadblock to get me on with you guys because it came on exactly at 1:30. I mean, if it had been at 1 o'clock or at 2 o'clock, I would have been fine. But they're like, we need to talk at 1:30. I'm like, fine, we'll talk at 1:30. So sorry about that, boys. We'll make up for it today.
Let's make up for it right now. Steve, I told this to Coach yesterday, and I honestly do feel the same way today. Earlier this week, Ozzy Osbourne passes away. And then the next day or 2 days later, Hulk Hogan passes away. And it's when I was growing up and when I first moved to San Diego, the two guys I would turn on and listen to when something earth shattering and world breaking would happen or an icon would pass away, I would turn into you and I would turn into the coach because I feel like sports radio guys just have a better habit of handling situations like that. What were your thoughts when we lost the Prince of Darkness and the Hulkster this week?
Well, let's talk about Ozzy for a moment here, guys, because for someone of my generation, the coach, so Sabbath hit the airwaves around 1970. Paranoid is probably the first true iconic heavy metal song ever. And holds true to this day. I mean, that's the amazing thing about some of the work. We're talking about people that change the entire landscape of music, as Black Sabbath did with Ozzy as their lead voice. It never goes away. I mean, we're talking 55 years later, and still their influence on the music industry is undeniable. And you can talk to any of those that followed in their footsteps. You know, when you talk about Judas Priest, by the way, they were from the same city as the guys from Black Sabbath, and all the other great heavy metal bands that came after them. They will always point to Black Sabbath, led by Ozzy Osbourne, as the changing of the guard and changing of an entire genre of music. So his impact on the music industry is undeniable. Now, as far as the person is concerned, that's next level. And that's the beauty of Ozzy Osbourne. I mean, how this man survived as long as he did is really crazy, that this man actually made it to 76 years of age, considering everything he inhaled and the kind of lifestyle they have. But, you know, when they introduced the Osbournes, you know, before there were the Kardashians, there were the Osbournes, and it presented a different view of Ozzy, like, okay, well, this guy's really a family guy, you know, with all the craziness in his life and his death-defying ability. He has shown that he is a loving parent. He's a responsible parent, and that's why the whole world fell in love with Ozzy. I did see Ozzy in concert once, way back in the day when he was on his solo run. He was absolutely phenomenal, lived up to all the hype. Now, as far as Hulk Hogan is concerned, I had the great opportunity to meet Hulk and his daughter Brooke when they launched their reality show. They came in the studio with me back in the day, back in our Burbank studios at the old 570, and the man could not have been nicer. I mean, larger than life. The man was 6'7", 300 pounds. And again, when we talk about what it is that he put into his body to maintain that kind of size and stature and everything else. You can look, it's a long list of wrestlers over the years that die way before their time. So I'm sure in retrospect, it caught up with the great Hulk Hogan. But again, when we talk about somebody with the biggest name in wrestling history, there has never been anyone bigger than a Hulkster. You can talk about The Rock. You can talk about Cena. You can talk way back with Bruno Sammartino. I mean, there's a lot of legendary wrestlers. None of them, Andre the Giant, none of them approached the star power that was enjoyed by the great Hulk Hogan. So, yeah, with Ozzy Osbourne and Hulk Hogan, you are literally talking about guys that in their chosen profession were at the absolute top of the mountain.
Steve, looking to the MLB trade deadline, less than a week away. A lot of talk of the Padres going to buy or sell down here. Dodgers been struggling up there. I know Freddie Freeman hit the walk-off the other day, but what's up with the Dodgers? Are that serious concern up there?
Well, Sammy, let's be honest with the Dodgers. They have used 36 pitchers this year. They've had 16 different starting pitchers this year. So, you know, we go into spring training and they've made all these acquisitions. We're still waiting for Blake Snell to come back. He had 2 starts this year. They're hoping for Roki Sasaki to come back. But then you got Tanner Scott's been a freaking disaster, and now he's on the IL. By the way, they currently have 12 pitchers on the IL. 12 on the IL right now. So there's no question the Dodgers are going to try to make deals. The question is, what are you willing to give up in return? And, you know, they've already gutted much of their farm system in recent years to acquire the talent to help them win a World Series a year ago. There isn't a whole lot there. And so I don't know what they can do. They need pitching desperately. This is a team that is averaging fewer innings per start than any team in Major League Baseball, which of course means that their bullpen has had more innings than any other bullpen in Major League Baseball. They have the 5th worst ERA in the National League. They have the 5th worst WHIP in the National League. When have you heard the Dodgers in the bottom half of the National League in terms of pitching? It just doesn't happen. So, you know, last year they were able to get Flaherty. I don't know who they're going to target. My guess, though, if they are going to acquire a pitcher, it's going to be on the back end. And by the way, they got a hole at third base. We don't know about the return of Max Muncy right now, when he's going to come back. That's been a disaster for them. And Mookie Betts, and I told you guys before the season when it came to Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman, they had down years a year ago. I said, is that a anomaly or is that a sign of things to come? And at least in the case of Mookie Betts, we are definitely seeing a player on the downside of his career.
40 days, 10 hours, 20 minutes, and 41 seconds until the start of the NFL season in 2025. Steve, I don't know if you saw this, but the Chargers and Mr. Harbaugh, their head coach, came on down to San Diego and hosted a couple training camp practices at USD, the home of the Toreros. If you were still on air in San Diego, what would have been your opening with the Chargers returning to San Diego for 2 training camp practices?
Well, guys, you remember as well as I do, when we bid farewell to the Chargers and we asked people about, would you ever welcome the Chargers back? The answer was yes, as long as they weren't attached to the Spanos family, specifically Dean Spanos. I mean, it was simple as that. By the way, I was actually scheduled for KTLA to make a trip to El Segundo to their new, the Bolt, as they call their facility. And then for some reason, it turned out they were like, yeah, we've got to change of plan.
So, maybe Dean saw a certain name attached.
Yeah, I don't think they want me anywhere near the Chargers after I've lambasted and skewered the pathetic individual that goes by the name of Dean Spanos, because he is a pathetic, low-life individual, a coward, a guy who was born on third base, thinks he hit a triple. He is a pathetic individual. He is an absolute disgrace to humankind. And what he did for San Diego will never be forgiven. So would we welcome the Chargers to go back to San Diego? Absolutely, in heartbeat. They don't belong in Los Angeles. They never belonged in Los Angeles. As long as they could detach themselves from Dean Spanos forever, the Chargers should return to San Diego, but San Diego is going to have to build a new stadium. I was literally just watching because my son Garrett is still a diehard Charger fan. He will never stop being a Charger fan. And we were looking at some old highlights from Charger days back in the LaDainian Tomlinson years, looking at a packed Qualcomm Stadium, as it was known, with all those Charger fans. Wasn't that long ago, guys. Wasn't that long ago. So, nothing is forever. But we ran it on KTLA. Obviously, we cover the Chargers and their return to San Diego. And for me to hear Jim Harbaugh lathering and thanking Dean Spanos for allowing him to return made me want to throw up.
Well, and how about them timing up?
Absolutely gagging.
And they time up the Phillip Rivers video that they put out for his official retirement, his one-day contract. They release it the day they're coming back to San Diego for a training camp, trying to soften the blow. I don't know what that was all about, but when Sammy and I got on air, I was like, this just feels gross.
It was ridiculous. I mean, let's face it. He played his last game for a Charger 6 years ago. Was it his last year as a Charger?
It was 5 years.
2019 because he played 2020 in Indianapolis. So we're talking 6 years after he played his last game as a Charger. He announces his retirement as a Charger. How bizarre was that? I mean, I guess everybody has their price. I felt embarrassed. And then, of course, he had his offensive line, unannounced parade into the video. It was so orchestrated. It was so ridiculous. And it holds no water. Look, again, I'm not going to, I've said my piece as far as Dean Spanos is concerned and what they did in robbing the Chargers from the city of San Diego. It'll never be forgiven. They can try all they want. They're desperate still to try to get some kind of fan base going, which is their attempt to come back to San Diego and say, hey, remember us? And we're like, yeah, we remember you. We remember you when you left. And it gave zero explanation to the city of San Diego for why you left. So, yeah, never forget.
Steve, Mark says, get him, Steve, on YouTube. Everyone's loving it. 100% agree. Now, a little bit differing from sports. You're the king of date night. It's been 2 weeks, and there's been something that's happened. Have you seen the Coldplay concert video?
I did, obviously, yes. I mean, I love it, the fact that every Major League Baseball team did a spoof on that video. Again, the idiocy of the guy. To show up at a public event. And by the way, people are saying, is there any legal recourse? I go, have you ever read the back of a ticket to a concert that you've attended or a baseball game or any kind of event? The back of the ticket says you have shown up at a public event, meaning you are fair game to be shown publicly. All rights have been waived. It's on the back of every single ticket, whether it's a sporting event, a concert, whatever kind of public event you attend. If you have a ticket and you buy a ticket, they can do with you anything they please. So to show up at that event, they were unlucky, I guess, but at the same time, they only have themselves to blame.
You're absolutely right, Steve. It does feel weird that the entire country just decided, yeah, you know what? We're going to do a victory lap on the grave of the divorce that's incoming for this couple. But it was a fun week. It really was. Steve, appreciate you.
It was tremendous. What? Are we going to go longer, guys? Is that it?
The show's almost over, Steve. I wanted to get to NASCAR coming to San Diego, but we'll have to do that next week. Maybe if you came down here and did a whole show, we could go as long as you want.
Yeah, Steve, whole show with you.
I'm still trying to plan later this summer, guys. I just got to put a few things in order, but it's going to happen. As I said, I will walk in unannounced right onto your show with the key I still have to the building. So that's how that's going to play out.
Can't wait for it. Hey, next week, we're talking about NASCAR coming to San Diego. How cool is that?
I love it. Absolutely love it. Love the awesome NASCAR scene. Love all kinds of racing, as you know, guys.
All right. We'll talk to you next week, Steve. Thank you.
All right, Fletch and Sammy.
Steve Hartman, man's on fire. He really is. Mark B on YouTube saying, go get him, Steve. Hashtag screw Spanos. Rivers deserves better, as do all San Diegans. And everybody agreeing with that. All right, we're going to take a quick break, final break of the day. When we come back, we'll kind of get you ready for the weekend, get you ready for SDFC coming up later tonight, get you ready for John and Jim. That's next. It's San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. I hear 2007 calling.
Soldier boy.
We all remember that one teacher who made a difference, who believed in us, who challenged us, or who just made learning fun. Now is your chance to say thank you in a big way with iHeartRadio's Thank a Teacher, powered by donors. Choose, nominate an outstanding public school teacher who's gone above and beyond for their students to win a $5,000 check to stock their classroom with whatever they need. Help us say thank you to the educators who are shaping our future. Nominate your favorite teacher now at iHeartRadio.com/teachers. Sammy, who's your favorite teacher you've ever had?
Oh, Miss Ellis, my second grade teacher. Still see her to this day.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, you still got detention?
From Miss Ellis?
Yeah.
No, I got detention in middle school because this girl was making fun of me. I'm gonna tell the story on the radio, and I kicked the chair out at the last second, and she fell down in front of the class.
Not cool.
And it was she was kind of I'll defend myself. But no, I only got detentions in middle school. I got like 8 detentions in middle school for not doing homework. And then,
have you nominated Miss Ellis yet?
I have not nominated Miss Ellis.
You probably should, Sammy. iHeartRadio.com/teachers.
She's in the South Pasadena school system.
You got to get her $5,000.
How many were you in trouble a lot?
Not really. I was with my parents, not with the school. Really, only got a couple detentions, but
yeah, I was fine in high school.
I always just tried to make best friends with the principal wherever I went.
That makes so much sense.
I know.
You're such a little kiss ass.
I'm that guy.
I always got sent outside for talking too much, but I always said, I was like, listen, A, I went into radio, so it worked out. And number 2, aren't we supposed to be socializing?
We're supposed to be.
Yeah.
I think we lost a lot of that during COVID.
Like,
you were a college student during COVID?
No, COVID hit during my senior year. We got shut down.
That's the worst.
My thing is this, and shout out to all the great teachers out there, but I'm going to make this statement. Like the teachers that would get mad at me for talking, I'd be like, it's kind of egotistical to think that you get to stand up there and talk to me for hours on end and we don't get to talk.
How'd that argument work?
The principal didn't take it too well, but we're here now.
All right, a couple things before we get out of here. First, we're getting video now of Bill Belichick coaching at University of North Carolina, so it looks like it's going to happen. Wasn't there betting odds on whether or not he would ever actually coach a game?
There's like a weird out in his deal if he dips out before August something.
I think that's coming past. I think it was July 1st. So it looks like Bill Belichick is going to be the head coach in North Carolina this year. Second thing, do you see how much a Caitlin Clark rookie card went for?
Crazy.
$660,000.
By the way, if I have that kind of money to spend on that,
$660,000.
Like, I mean, John Schaefer must just be in heaven. He's all baseball card, buying cards, things like that. Like, I don't care who it is. I'm not spending that much money on a card.
I think it is showing that the WNBA is going to take over. We're just a couple years away, Sammy.
Caitlin Clark is taking over, yes.
Yes, Caitlin Clark is absolutely taking over. All right, that's about it for us this week. I thought Steve Hartman was on fire today.
Yeah, him and Dean Spanos not going out to dinner anytime soon.
I think everything I was rattling around in my head over the last few days about the Chargers having training camp here, Steve put out so perfectly.
Yeah, Steve's the greatest.
God, that was good, man. It got me fired up. It got me amped up a little bit.
We got some good texts about the Padres. Say 858 sell. Pirates of that wild card out in the first round, kind of essentially saying, long text, we're running out of time, but essentially saying, I agree with you that what's the expectation, just to get a t-shirt, at the wild card, or really try to go win this thing? And the best thing is to sell in that regard.
Texter also says this is the team of the 2030s. And I don't think that should be the thought process right now. You've built this team for now. 2030s are going to suck when you see the contracts that are going to be going still into the 2030s. So I think you got to build right now.
I'm hanging around with John and Jim right now.
Have fun. That's going to be a great show.
I told Jim I'm going to mute him if he says something dumb. So look out if you listen.
Brent for Sammy.
I love me some Brent.
All right. That's it for us. John, Jim next. San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app.